Hello guys and welcome to the Game Beans. I'm RFXX and today I'm showing you all about the Chloromancer, specs and whatever else. So the spec, what you need first, this is going to be for raid healing. This is for raid healing, or if you only use one healing spec for healing a dungeon or whatever. This is, I would say, the spec to go for if you only have one Chloro spec, and this will be the spec for raid healing. Why raid healing? Because you have the free concentration, because you're going to be spamming vile spores and you don't want them to get pushback on them, and reduce the cast time of them, and also you've got you got the burning fury and whatever, and obviously five in harbinger for 10% more spell power. If you're saying, oh, what about me? I'm a main spec healer. Well, use this for raid healing, and if you're a tank healing, I would say go for 10 dummy. So you got it's not like you need 5% more mana, 10% more mana or whatever. It's mainly for the Cuban, 10% more intelligence. So you're going to be having 10% more intelligence, and on top of that you're going to have 10% more spell power. So in total you're going to be healing a hell of a lot on the tank, which is good. You need loads of heals. You're thinking, why don't I want to have free concentration or ignition or burning fury or elementalist? You could go for elementalist for more crits. You could go for burning fury for more crits. But you don't really need ignition and fury concentration when you're tank healing, because the void life is what? It's a channel, and you don't get pushed back on it, no cast time. I guess you could use it for nature's touch, but everything else really is pretty much instant heals, so it's kind of like hit and miss really. I would say not. So what do you need macro wise? At the moment, I have the single. I have Ruin, Curses Spores, Vice Spores, and Ruin Rain. I use this for when I'm raid healing. But if you're tank healing, because I can't be asked to make another macro because I'm tank healing, I normally just move and then click it to click Ruin. But if you're tank healing, I would suggest do this. So you have Curses Spores, you've got your instants, you've got your Curses Spores, Ruin, and Rain. You can either use that when you're moving about, but to be honest, I use them all the time. Any other macros? Well, yeah, I guess all the normal Chloro macros, Master UI, Bloom, Essence Surge, this will all be on the spec guide. Symbiosis is a new ability. It increases the healing received from one ally who you put it on by 50% from Life Giving Veil and Life Bound Veil for 10 seconds, and it's a 40-second cooldown. This is very good, and a very good ability. That's about it. Got the dot ability, mouse over macro. You got the target synthesis if you need it. You got your AoE, your normal spam cleansers. You got your normal heals. More heals, combat reses. You name it. Just pretty much all of it. You could put cleanse and rush with stop casting in it and have its own macro, but I've got a fucking ton of macros. I can't be arsed to add any more. So, buff wise, what you're going to be using? Well, you're going to be using for raid healing. You're going to be using life giving energy, like living energy. You're going to be using life giving veil. You're going to be using lightning blade just for some extra damage, and life giving aegis. So synergy crystals. If you're in synergy crystal, when you're raid healing, you're going to be using the harbinger crystal, because the chloro crystal has no use whatsoever for you at all. The harbinger crystal will give you 200 spell power for wielding a weapon buff. So this is a 4-set bonus, but it's going to be the raid crystal. It's going to be the raid synergy crystal, obviously. Well, that's what you're going to be using in the raid synergy crystal. Tank healing, obviously you're going to be, other than the other spec, if you're pure tank healing, or if not, this spec, synthesis on the tank, and it automatically puts the life bound veil on for you, and you're going to be using your life, the chloro crystal, because every time you use the void life, it will give you, I think it was 75 spell power every for 3 stacks or whatever. So instead of it being before, you get stacked to make it Nature's Touch instant, you get stacked to increase your spell power. So that's going to be good for tank healing. So healing wise, if you're in a dungeon, for example, tank healing, I would say spam void life. Yeah, we all say that, but there's obviously more to it. So corrosive spores, this is insane. So what does the corrosive spores do? It's a cast that you put on the dummy or whatever, and the first hit is a hell of a lot of damage, and it heals a hell of a lot. After that, it has a dot, and every single tick after that, it heals after. It's also an AOE, so any other targets around, it will also heal. So if I put life giving bit on, just to show you, if I put it on the boss, and then there we go. So what did that do? It did a 807, 900 non-crit heal, and then obviously here, tons more heals as you go along, but these are, most of them are non-crits. So I would suggest make sure you have corrosive spores up all the time. When I'm tanking, then I also, this is also, while tanking, it's also affected by synthesis. So when you have synthesis on the tank, it will also deal more heal to the tank, or whoever you got synthesis on, which is insane. They'll also change that for Ruin, so now it's affected by synthesis as well. You do more healing with Lifebound Veil and synthesis on the target, which is good. So you could either use this when you're moving about, but I like to use it straight away because it's a big heal, big instant heal, and it's got a dot on it. So you could use that when you're moving about, but I tend to use it all the time. Make sure you use Corrosive Spores all the time though. So when you're not doing Corrosive Spores and that, what else are you doing? You're using Void Life. Why are you using Void Life? Because it gives you, it's a hell of a lot of healing, the channel, and it's obviously synthesis, but it also gives you stacks of Boon of Life. This reduces the cast time of Nature's Touch by 0.5 per stack. Most people, the best way to do it is actually to have 3 stacks and then cast, because by the time you've cast it and it's gone off, your global cooldown's gone. But if you want to make it so you have constant heals all the time, I guess, or use it for emergencies, you can keep on spamming Void Life, and when you know there's a big heal or big damage going to come, spam, click, just instantly use Nature's Touch. So I guess that's the only difference of using it. You can pretty much, when you got 5 stacks, use it whenever you want, instead of having to, you can use it when you move in or whatever, instead of having to cast free. But even though that is the more effective way of doing it, if you're completely doing it, it's like one of them, one Void Life, one full channel of Void Life, and then Nature's Touch, one full channel of Void Life, Nature's Touch. That's the effective way of doing it. But most of the time you're just spamming Void Life and then using Nature's Touch whenever you can be bothered. You can use it when you're running or whatever. So that's pretty okay. What about Raid Healing? Raid Healing, pretty easy. Just spam that macro, really. Corrosive Spores is insane, and you're just using spam Wild Spores. Simple as. When you move, you're going to be having, obviously you're going to, maybe want to put Virulent Vein on the boss, depending on how many people are in melee, but otherwise that's it. So, what other stuff are they? Obviously, all the other stuff, for example, Radiant Spores, a person with most health, or mainly the Raid Healer would be the best person to do it, have it on. You've got Entropic Veil. This increases your damage done by 16%, so you're going to be doing quite a bit of damage, and it also increases your healing done. So this is, whenever you have the chance to have this up, always have it up. It's fucking useful. So Wild Growth, this is insane. Even though it's a heal, the heals are small from it, but it increases the damage done on the target by 10% for 12 seconds. So if you have more than one Chloro, make sure you don't stack this together. You're going to have a rotation, so you have the maximum amount of DPS damage done on the mob as possible. Natural Splendor is, I guess, good. It's a AoE, and anyone in melee range of it will get an extra heal on top of the heal of Life-Giving Veil or Life-Bound Veil. So that's pretty good. More targets, the more it heals. So bonus. Apart from that, they both use charge and traffic. All these 3 use charge, so make sure you have enough charge for them, but you also want to make sure that you use Entropic Veil as much as possible. You obviously have all your cleansers and flourish for AoE heals, and you got your combos and essence to get back, but otherwise, yeah. So remember, you can still use Healing Torrent. For example, on the 3rd boss of Storm Queen, before it does the massive AoE and cleanses, use Healing Torrent on one player, use Resurrence on the other player, and use Symbiosis on the third player. And then all 3 of them now have more healing all the time on them, and then you cleanse it, do whatever, and then flourish to heal up, and then cleanse again, or whatever. It's not hard. So people who moan that tank healing and raid healing in dungeons are hard as a chloro, it's not hard. You just need to be good and have right specs and know what you're doing with chloro and using all your abilities, whatever. So make sure you can use all these. Make sure you use some buses all the time. On certain occasions, it's really good, especially for tank healing, or for example, what I just said there, for keeping up a DPS when you're trying to raid heal. It's pretty good. And that's about it. That's been Chloro. Check out all the specs. I'm going to be doing Archon, all the DPS specs and AoE specs, so make sure you check them out. This guide will be on the website, www.thegameviz.co.uk, under Elfie. It should be noticeable on there. It's not up yet, but it will be soon, so make sure you check it out.